Hello, Allendale friends and families. It's Mrs. Croissant with Dinosaurs Before Dark. We're going to be reading Chapter 5 today, so thank you for joining me. Yesterday in Chapter 4, Jack and Annie came down from their treehouse. They met the Pteranodon, and Annie decided he was really nice and smart. But then Annie looked up the hill and saw another big dinosaur. So let's see what happens with that big dinosaur. Chapter 5, Gold in the Grass. Go, go, said Jack. He threw his notebook into his pack. He pushed Annie toward the rope ladder. Bye, Henry, she said. Go, said Jack. He gave Annie a big push. Quit it, she said. But she started up the ladder. Jack scrambled after her. They tumbled into the treehouse. They were panting as they looked out the window at the dinosaur. He was standing on the hilltop, eating flowers off a tree. Oh, man, whispered Jack. We are in a time long ago. The dinosaur looked like a huge rhinoceros, only he had 3 horns instead of 1, 2 long ones above his eyes and 1 on his nose. He had a big shield-like thing behind his head. Ah, Triceratops, said Jack. Does he eat people? Asked Annie. I'll look it up. Jack grabbed the dinosaur book. He flipped through the pages. There, he said. He pointed to a picture of the Triceratops. He read the caption. The Triceratops lived in the late Cretaceous period. This plant-eating dinosaur weighed over 12,000 pounds. Jack slammed the book shut. Just plants, no meat. Let's go see him, said Annie. Are you nuts? Said Jack. Don't you want to take notes about him? Asked Annie. We're probably the first people in the whole world to ever see a real live Triceratops. Jack sighed. She was right. Let's go, he said. He shoved the dinosaur book into his pack. He slung it over his shoulder and started down the ladder. On the way down, Jack stopped. He called up to Annie. Just promise you won't pet him. I promise. Promise you won't kiss him. I promise. Promise you won't talk to him. I promise. Promise you won't. Go, go, she said. Jack went. Annie followed. When they stepped off the ladder, the Pteranodon gave them a kind smile. Annie blew a kiss at him. Back soon, Henry, she said cheerfully. Shh, said Jack, and he led the way through the ferns, slowly and carefully. When he reached the bottom of the hill, he kneeled behind a fat bush. Annie knelt beside him and started to speak. Shh, he put his fingers to his lips. Annie made a face. Jack peeked out at the Triceratops. The dinosaur was incredibly big, bigger than a truck. He was eating the flowers off a magnolia tree. Jack slipped his notebook out of his pack. He wrote, Eats flowers. Annie nudged him. Jack ignored her. He studied the Triceratops again. He wrote, Eats slowly. Annie nudged him harder. Jack looked at her. Annie pointed to herself. And then she walked her fingers through the air, and then she pointed at the dinosaur. She smiled. Was she teasing? She waved at Jack. Jack started to grab her. She laughed and jumped away. She fell into the grass in full view of the Triceratops. Jack whispered, Get back! Too late. The big dinosaur had spotted Annie. He gazed down at her from the hilltop. Half of a magnolia flower was sticking out of his mouth. Oops, said Annie. Get back, Jack shouted at her. He looks nice, Jack. Nice? Watch out for his horns, Annie. No, he's nice, Jack. Nice? But the Triceratops just gazed calmly down at Annie. Then he turned and loped away down the side of the hill. Bye, said Annie. She turned back to Jack. See? Jack grunted, but he wrote in his notebook, Nice. Come on, let's look around some more, said Annie. As Jack started after Annie, he saw something glittering in the tall grass. He reached out and picked it up. A medallion. A gold medallion. You can see in his hand right there. And there goes the Triceratops. A letter M was engraved on the medallion. A fancy M. Oh man, someone came here before us, Jack said softly. I wonder who it could be. Somebody whose name starts with an M. Maybe? I don't know. We'll find out. Join me on Monday for Chapter 6. Thank you, boys and girls. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.